Hello, everyone. Welcome to this episode of Extraordinaire. Through this interview series, I'm attempting to profile people who've made an extraordinary impact in their respective fields to engage and uplift others and help them be the best versions of themselves. I'm humbled and honored today to introduce to you my mentor and guide, and someone whose presence in my life I cherish immensely, Shadille Estepan. Shadille Estepan is a storyteller and mental health advocate. Currently, she serves as the communications and creative manager for Born This Way Foundation. With over 6 years of experience as a communications expert, she is committed to eliminating the stigma surrounding mental health and advocating for a world where young people are more emotionally equipped to navigate life's challenges. Through her role, she curates conversations that foster positive mental health and lead young people to tangible resources that support their wellness, create community, and build kind, empathetic communities. Shadil has been part of Born This Way Foundation since 2012, when she served as part of the inaugural Youth Advisory Board. She is currently based in Miami, Florida. Welcome, Shadil. I'm so honored and glad to have you here.
Thank you so much. It's an honor to be here, and it's so exciting to learn more about your work in the process as well, and to uplift and amplify the amazing young people that we work with at Born This Way Foundation through my role. I'm so excited for this interview. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. So, to start with, what is a fun fact about yourself? This can be a favorite animal, food, or hobby.
Yeah. Oh wow. Um, I feel like so many come to mind. Then also I want to share. I love boxing and I love to practice yoga. Both are for me meditative practices, really just an opportunity for me to heal and recenter. And in moments when I feel really, really stressed, I know that I can rely on either of those practices to really ground me.
What wonderful hobby, Shadil. And if I may say so myself, they're a double blessing as they both help heal the body and mind as well. Okay, moving on to my next question. It is really rare that career paths follow a straight line from where they started to where they are today. Would you care to share a little bit about who your inspiration was and tell us about some interesting experiences along the way that shaped you as an individual and a professional?
Thank you so much for that question. I love talking about what led me to Born This Way Foundation. I've been part of Born This Way Foundation since 2012 when I first learned about this nonprofit that was going to be started and dedicated to building a kinder and a braver world. I served as part of the inaugural Youth Advisory Board, and I always knew I wanted to tell stories, but I didn't always know what that would look like. So I went to school for journalism, for television production, and and I also minored in nonprofit leadership, but I followed my gut. I added nonprofit to my studies and continued taking photos and videos and telling stories on behalf of and for Born This Way Foundation. And by the time I graduated, I had a cover letter. I don't share this often, but I had a cover letter and my resume, all like I had it ready to share with the foundation staff at the time. Um, but honestly, I was so scared. I let fear of rejection and other thoughts, intrusive thoughts, take over. And it wasn't until I spoke on a panel about my own mental health that I found comfort in sharing my experiences more publicly. And I learned that through storytelling, we heal. And after that conversation, I was on this panel with our co-founder and our co-founder Lady Gaga and another young person and a representative, David Furnish, from the Elton John's Aid Foundation, Elton's husband. And and after that conversation, Lady Gaga walked up to me to thank me for participating and really for sharing my story. She understood that it isn't always the easiest thing to do, but that in doing so, we are brave and we are helping to help others heal. And so she thanks me and essentially offered me this job. She offered me an opportunity to join her team and to do what I get to do today, which is to uplift and share the stories of other young people and help extend a platform for all of us to express ourselves candidly and kindly in our communities and talk about these acts of kindness that are so healing. And so I've worked full time for the foundation for 6 years now, and I continue to be moved by the stories, the same stories that surfaced since the very inception of Born This Way Foundation. I continue to be moved by stories like yours of young people from across the globe who are using their experiences and their voices to help others heal and find community and resources. And so I started as an advisory board member, and now I'm a full-time team member. And I did want to share that our advisory board applications are live this month. And I encourage anyone who's interested in learning how they can get involved with Born This Way Foundation to check out our website at bornthisway.foundation.
Thank you so much, Shadille. You make a very strong case for listening to one's gut and following one's heart. And as always, hearing of others' successes and experiences and how destiny plays out makes one very hopeful and positive. So, before my next question, I'd just like to thank you for having gone through my audiobook, and I do hope you enjoyed it. In my eponymous poem, L'Extraordinaire, and several others, I've dwelt on how empathy is a superpower the world needs most today, and kindness is a panacea for many problems we face today. Coincidentally, kindness is the underpinning value of Born This Way Foundation and Channel Kindness, that you have worked relentlessly towards promoting it. It is a well established fact that the pandemic has exacerbated the mental health crisis for people with existing mental health issues, especially the younger generation. Can you very briefly share with us a real life story you encountered where kindness and its twin empathy worked a miracle?
Yeah, thank you so much. And thank you for sharing your audiobook with me. It was so wonderful to listen to. And I really want to echo what you've shared is that empathy is a superpower. And one of the most powerful things we can do is listen and be there for someone else. I think so often we want to fix things or immediately make them better for the people we love and the people we care about. But sometimes being a shoulder to cry on or an ear to listen is the best thing we can do in that moment, of course. And so for me, I I almost can't talk about her without like almost going into tears because I love her so much. But my sister is one of the most empathetic people that I know, and she often checks in on me, whether it's a funny meme or knocking on my room door and saying like, "Hey, I'm here. I hope you have a good day." I think there are small things in each of our days that we can do that can really uplift other people and help them and yourself feel really grounded. And this one time she walked into my room and I was like typing away, like super stressed and just like typing hard on my keyboard, about to break a key or something, and typing. And she walks into my room and she's like, "Hey," and didn't realize I was just so engaged in something that I responded to her quite angrily and asked her like, "Please leave." Like I was just like, oh, I'm like, when we get just so angry sometimes. And as soon as I said it, I felt, oh, I shouldn't have acted that way. I felt bad, but I just kept typing. And so I thought I'll apologize later. About 30 minutes go by and she calls me outside of the room and like guides me to the bathroom. She's like, come here, like, come with me, you know? and and she tidied up the bathroom and lit a few candles and turned up my favorite music, and something so small that she knows really brings a lot of calmness. She did that for me, and I cried from how she chose to I cried from how she chose to project kindness and empathy rather than internalize the emotions that I sent her direction when I was angrily typing. And it's just one of the many examples. We have the capacity to show kindness, and it doesn't always have to be a very big grand gesture. It can be small things, that like making eye contact with someone and smiling at them and saying that you hope they have a good day, truly genuinely hope that they have a good day, and holding the door open for someone, that's important too. And so is advocating. Like, what you do is kindness, the way you share your story and the way you are there for others by showing them ways in which that they too can use their beautiful artwork or their talents like yours in poetry, and also interviewing. You have so many skills, and it's really about thinking, how can I use my skills or what I know about this person that I love, to show up for them in a really thoughtful way. And at Born This Way Foundation, we have a tool that helps us navigate that, especially when those we love are met with mental health challenges. And it's called the Be There Certificate. The Be There Certificate is a free online self-paced mental health course that teaches anyone and everyone how to navigate a conversation about mental health and how to lean into these seemingly uncomfortable talks that surface in our lives with kindness and grace and confidence. I know so many times I've had friends and loved ones that I want to like talk to and engage with, but it can be hard to have that conversation. And so the Be There Certificate is just one of the tools that anyone can use to help them learn to be there, quite literally, for themselves and for each other.
Thank you so much for that story, and I'm sure my mother can tell you loads of tales about sibling rivalry and sibling bickering. But this was a great story centered on sibling kindness. Jokes apart, I strongly believe, as I've said in my audiobook, L'Extraordinaire, empathy and kindness are the superpowers the world needs most today. My next question to you, and I'll just start with what I believe about this. I personally believe that ableism and social and structural issues like lack of accessibility continue to present barriers for people with disabilities around the world. Do you agree with this statement? And what, in your opinion, are the best ways to tackle them? Can you give some examples of what best practices you have come across in your professional career or your personal life?
Thank you for this question. And yes, I agree. I think ableism and social and structural issues continue to present barriers for people with disabilities around the world. I think that one of the best ways to tackle these issues is by increasing awareness and education about the challenges that disabled people face, and uplift the voices of those with lived experiences, hearing from young people and people of all ages within this community and so many other communities is really understanding, listening, and ensuring that when we do so, we're not doing it with our own agenda, but rather with the intent to understand and to correct ourselves when needed. I think it's important to advocate for changes at the policy level to ensure that people with disabilities have equal access to opportunity and resources. And I would say that some examples of best practices in this area, and I may not be the best person, the best equipped individual to share these best practices. I think someone within this community who works in this space may be better equipped. But something I've seen folks in the disabled community uplift is that implementing laws and regulations that mandate accessibility, inclusion training for service providers, for example, and really the development of programs and services specifically designed to meet the needs of people with disabilities, in addition to having conversations, talk and really lean into what the needs of the folks that you are supporting or that you are engaging or that you have hired, what are their needs. Having those conversations is incredibly important.
You've really nailed it, Shadille. I strongly believe that if we educate children on the power of differentness starting young, it'll come to them naturally. Then our collectively lived experiences will ensure the solutions to social and structural issues that exist today will fall in place organically. Finally, could you please share some parting pearls of wisdom with our listeners on how we can make this world a kinder, more inclusive place to live in?
Thank you so much. And um, I thought about this response, and I really want to, it's just all of the beautiful things that you've said so far are so important. I really want to echo that. I want to like highlight it, underline it, like tweet it. What you shared about our collective lived experiences ensure that solutions to social and structural issues that exist today fall in place organically by educating young people. And something we talk a lot about at the foundation is that we have to be the example. Older generations and younger generations, all of us, we have to live through example and not just say these things, but rather act on that kindness. Kindness is action. And it's so important for us to educate ourselves constantly. It's not about taking one course one day and checking off a box. It's about, as you shared, really leaning into how we discuss and how we educate ourselves around the power of differentness, starting young, so that it can be something that is just innate and it's just part of our nature. And I believe that kindness is part of our nature. It's something that should be practiced. And so to answer your question more specifically, please forgive me for the tangent. To answer your question more specifically, I believe we are all placed on this earth and given this life to fulfill our unique purpose. I genuinely believe that. And I think it's so important for us to remember that everyone has something special to offer. Everyone is special. We all matter. And that we all have a role to play in making this world a kinder and braver place. We get to call this home, our homes, literally the rooms we're in, the communities that make up where we live, but also the world, the literal countries that make up that make up the populations. And so we can make the world kinder and more inclusive by promoting support, actively promoting support and understanding of all of us, including people with disabilities, and striving to be more inclusive in our everyday lives and speaking up in the face of injustice and working together. I believe by working together, we can create a world that is more inclusive and welcoming for everyone. And part of that is our online communities too. And so I invite anyone who's listening or watching or tuning in any format to join Born This Way Foundation's community. Join us at bornthisway.foundation. Learn more about our work. Follow us on social and share your stories with us on channelkindness.org.
So, thank you so much, Shadille. This is so enlightening and uplifting in equal measures. I look forward to partnering with you and Lady Gaga's Born This Way Foundation and Channel Kindness to do my part in spreading the sunshine on such a pertinent topic. Thank you so much once again. It was such an honor to have you here, and yeah.
Thank you. I'm honored and so excited to share more about your work and um, and to connect with you this way. Thanks for inviting me.
Thank you.